Hello, all. Welcome to the Dark Roast and Nerdiest podcast. This is going to be episode number 9, Attack of the Drones, where we all are just a bunch of nerds here talking about nerdy shit filled with a ton of caffeine. We'd like to thank you for joining us in. Tonight, I am going to be without my co-host, Shark. He is feeling under the weather. So for the all in the chat, give some love to Shark. Hopefully, he will be back for the next show. And that will actually be his last show for a little while because he is going on his cruise. Yeah. Cruises sound fun. Sometimes don't sound fun. I don't know if I'd really feel about seeing water everywhere. 8-Ball knows that a little too much, so we're going to bring him in here, and we're also going to bring in our other co-host for the night, Walrus. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Yes, our resident Navy man here knows much about walking out and just seeing endless blue.
Oh, I miss it. I miss the sea. Y'all don't even understand. There's such a calming and just surreal feeling when you're out there, because I'm dead serious. Like it's surreal. You realize a lot of things. You realize how small you are. You realize how unimportant you are, while also realizing just how much of a king you are on this earth. Like, oh my God, dude.
Well, I mean, think about just the sheer science of it too blows my mind. It always has. So when you see these damn super carriers, you're thinking that is thousands of tons of metal that's floating.
Yeah. So you know what's this is a weird topic for me, because like a lot of things that they show about the Navy, it's either carriers or it's the special forces aspect of it. It's like nobody ever talks about like the regular fleet.
You some love here.
Hey.
Hey, don't worry, 8-Ball. If you mess up, you'll just go have a nice warm embrace by Davy Jones. So it's all good.
I mean, subs have a safety manual that's literally just ha on every page, and you're supposed to flip it so it's laughing at you. So
that one I gotta hand him in. I couldn't be in a stinking beer can. No, thank you.
I will say this: shout out to the submarine fleet. Shout out to Tamara Young. She's a real close friend of mine. She's still in, and she's currently out on a sub somewhere in the deep.
Yeah, I got to hand those people. There is big credit to go to those people, because that takes a lot of strength and a lot of strength of willpower and mind to be stuck in nothing with something with no fucking windows. And you know that you are going into an abyss that is unforgiving, and there is no fucking help if shit goes wrong.
Some mariners just a different breed.
Yeah. God loves a bubblehead.
So tonight, basically, our main topic, we're going to go ahead and start off with the bang of the main topic of the night, which is Attack of the Droids. This was actually going to be the show kind of run by Shark tonight, so I'm going to kind of hopefully do it justice since he's under the weather. And then, of course, when he comes back in the next show, we are definitely going to kind of let him catch up on anything I miss. So with the ever-growing presence of AI in the digital landscape and everything moving forward the way it is, it's basically been brought to people's attention that nowadays, let's see, what did he say here? It's crazy that the USS Iowa battleship almost became an aircraft carrier. Yeah. You probably know more about that than I do, 8-Ball.
And then me and you need to talk offline, because there's a lot. There's a lot of things.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Well, there's just a lot of things, period. But
yeah, so I don't know much about that. Everybody I knew, most of people I know, I think you're about, other than my little brother Yasha, you're the only Navy people I know. Everybody else, and even all the people when I worked at the company that will not be named, most of them were all Air Force, Army, or Marines. There were more Coasties than there were Navy.
I tried to work at the place that shall not be named, and yeah.
Is this the
Hey, I think I got mine because years of experience and a sympathy interview. It's kind of hard to sit there and tell somebody, Well, I don't know if you're going to meet us when you're doing the interview and you can see the person's in a gurney and in the gown and still in their hospital bed.
Yeah, fair.
I think I gained it on that one. But yeah, it was it. Even when I got in, it was they were being very picky on who they let in, but the sad part is for the wrong reason.
Dude, there's a misconception about like other branches as far as like a lot of things where people would be like, oh, that's veteran owned companies or that's this, that, and the other. Like, I'm a combat veteran, right? But I'm US Navy, but I'm not a SEAL. So it's like people are like, oh, well, how are you a combat veteran? And then I have to explain things. And keep in mind, all of this was before I went to Afghanistan. So I'm like, okay, cool. I have to explain things to you. That's fine. But like, when I first got out, I thought, okay, cool. I can go into contracting. Contracting jobs are really hard to find because then you got to know somebody. Then I'm like, okay, cool. Hey, they're doing shipboard contracting for everybody going through the Red Sea, going through the Straits of Hormuz and stuff like that, going through Asia and stuff like that, dealing with those pirates and stuff like that. And I'm like, I could get a job doing that. And it was so hard applying to companies because they're like, oh, you're not special forces and you're not from a combat unit in the Army or the Marines. And I'm like, but I was in the Navy and I have a combat action ribbon. Like, I have my combat experience and I also have the training and the stuff. Like, I have the training and the stuff that you're going to need for those jobs.
Did you get to remind?
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
Did you get to remind them that the Marines were part of the Department of the Navy?
Well, no, it's like they want combat arms. So it's like, even with the Marines, like, let's say you were Marines aviation and stuff like that. If you didn't go anywhere or do anything, they were like, oh, we don't want you. You're not combat arms. But I'm like, okay, well, I was Navy and yeah, I'm not special forces, but I did do boardings. I did do all that other stuff. And they're like, well, you have it here, but you weren't a SEAL. And I'm just like, the Navy doesn't end at SEALs and people who work on aircraft carriers.
Yeah. Most people don't get that though.
No,
I remember a lot of people's knowledge of what they have in the military is whatever they've seen on TV or a movie. And that's about it.
Like I said, it's fair. It's a personal complaint at this point because I understand that, and like I said, that's an actual fair thing because like even there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about certain jobs that I only glean from what I see on TV, like lawyers and everything else. Like, you know, there are people who make their whole careers just being legal aids.
Yeah.
So. I get it.
I had actually heard that before. What about you, Paul? You said, did you know that the USS Texas was the first ship in the U.S. military to use Marines?
Yes. Yeah. I follow Fat Electrician and I love his stories, but I also I'm a history nerd. So there's a lot of stuff that I learned because I'm a history nerd and I was in the Navy and I'm like, oh, I get to learn this shit. So this is going to be really cool. And then I found out a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of different things, like boarding teams.
Entity was actually saying his dad was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
Same here.
But like, there's a lot of things like, okay, boarding teams. People don't realize that boarding teams actually were a thing, and that for the longest time, the Navy had their own like infantry setup. Where they would send shore parties and everything else and stuff like that. People don't know that. Like World War II, they had whole rifle companies that were just dedicated for ships that ended up transforming into the VBSS teams, which were the vessel boarding search and seizure teams. But yeah, people don't even know that happened. Like regular ships, regular everyday ships have vessel boarding search and seizure teams. And that they go get trained, they go get specialized training. And when you deploy, they're on standby to possibly do compliant and non-compliant boardings, depending on what's going on in the area. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's again, it's history and it's a lot of stuff. And then again, it's also most people's interactions were are the commercials. Because like I asked me how many Marines that I know that joined the Marines because they were like, I saw the dude fight the lava monster, and I was like, I could do that.
Yeah, or saw Top Gun one too many times and was like, I can go be a fighter pilot.
Even with that, even with that. So I'll tell you right now. Even with that, when I first saw Top Gun as a kid, I literally thought that anybody could be a Rio. Anybody could be a backseat dude because you didn't have to do anything. Your only job was to put your hands out and look really fast. So all you had to have was really good vision so you could see where things were. So you're just sitting there going, huh, huh. And that was your only job.
And then to find out that you're working the radio, you're working the comms, you're working the armament, you're doing the whole nav system.
Complete aviation warfare techs and stuff like that. I used to think that Helo crew people, you would just be on the Helo crew. You're like, hey, I want to be a gunner on the Helo crew. And all they trained you to do was shoot guns from a Helo. And then that was it. And it's like, no, there's a whole lot more to things. So I learned, but my whole wanting to join the military anyway was me seeing the movie Aliens. And I was like, I want to do that. So I get it. Everybody else saw Full Metal Jacket or Platoon, joined the Marines and the Army and stuff like that. And I wanted to join the Marines because I was like, I saw Aliens, I saw Vasquez, and I was like,
I mean, how can seeing Full Metal Jacket make you go, damn, I want to go join the Marines? I mean, we know what happens to old boy.
Well, no, because it's a mental toughness thing. I'm strong enough to deal with that. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is, and it's funny. Ari Emery, who played Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, was actually in the military. Yep. And he was a drill instructor. And what he wanted to do was, all of the characteristics of Gunnery Sergeant Hartman are the worst characteristics of drill instructors combined into one person.
No, and he actually toned it down at the beginning, and it was Kubrick that when he went off on one specific scene, the look on everybody's faces, he turned to Kubrick and he was like, should I continue this? And Kubrick was like, fuck what they think. Go harder.
But what he said in an interview was, he said that even with that, the Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, the way that you see him, everybody's like, oh, that's the quintessential gunnery, that's the quintessential Marine drill instructor. And it's like, no, he wanted to take all of the worst characteristics of a drill instructor and put it into one person. Because if you go back in his screen stuff and you watch Boys of Company C, you'll see him as the proper instructor in that. And it's two different characters.
Well, and people forget that they are instructors. They are there for you. They want you to be better.
No.
As an overall.
All right, so back on track, guys. Since we are talking about instructors, that does kind of lead into this. And Entity was going off on, he asked if you wanted to hear a joke about Marines. And he started the joke. I'm waiting for him to tell both parts so I can actually just tell both parts.
I do want to
put in the second part. I'm not ignoring it. I do see it there. So
I
once
do
you get the
hear
second part, I'll jump that in there. But
yeah, I definitely want to hear it. What? I definitely want to know the joke. I'll tell you one too, but I'll do it later. We got to keep on track.
So the joke is, what does the Marines stand for?
My ass rides in Navy equipment.
Yeah, you beat him to it. Yeah.
And then you got USMC Uncle Sam's Mentally Challenged.
Oh, there's a whole different way. There's a whole different slew of ones that
meet around. I don't want to piss off a bunch of Marines that come right now.
Oh, no. I love the Marines. I love the Marines. They're the best department of the Navy.
All right, back on track, guys. We'll have a whole nother other show. We want to go down that road. I'll pull it a favor, and I won't say his name, but I'll get somebody in here, and I can let y'all banter with him because he knows all of it. between all of us, he's got more years of experience in that world.
I'll bring mine in then.
Hell, I think the only reason the guy got out is because they were looking at him like, you're too fucked up and broken. We can't do anything with you anymore.
I mean, that's fair. They will do that.
Oh yeah. Well, especially, I'm sorry, once you get the loving TBI report on you, they really don't want to touch you anymore at all, or pay you, even though they just said you had it and that's why they're getting you out. But yeah. All right. So basically, Attack of the Droids, where we're going to start at is with AI kind of growing the way it is. Shark wanted to bring in kind of the idea of being a dad. He is a little concerned about things like this. So we're going to look at a few little pictures of things. You have the Yonbo here, which is an AI companion that it's not being marketed as just an AI companion like the friend you put, like, you know, the little robots that people are talking about, or the little dogs and all that. This one is actually meant to be a companion that is your kid's friend, grows up with your kid, mentors your kid. So we're not talking just a friend. We're talking AI nannies here. And of course, he's concerned about it. My take is, when you look at things like this, when you got the next one is the Moxie, which is an AI companion, which is talking about learning, empathy, fun. And the crazy part is all these fucking things are all sold out, or the Kickstarters have far exceeded their expectations. Then you've got ones like this one, which is going to literally be your wireless tangible friend that will actually link up to, and it's already being used, which is scary, AI psychiatrists. You're not getting mental health from a fucking robot.
Jim Carrey said it best in The Cable Guy. Somebody's got to kill the babysitter. I have a hot take on all AI anyway, but one of the main things that I know of is you had a generation of parents basically letting tablets and the internet raise their kids. So, of course, the very next evolution of that would be to have artificial intelligence raising your kids so that you can do the whole beach trips to Cabo and all that other stuff. Because remember, when you have a kid and you're an adult, you don't have to forsake your dreams, and you don't have to stop the life that you're having just because you had a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is better than half the parents getting arrested for leaving them at home alone or in a car for 20 hours.
You know what? Okay, I'm with you.
You did bring up that a first robot buying a toy for your kids, make sure it doesn't have a camera in it. That was true, right? But the problem is now 90% of these kids already have a fucking phone, already have an Instagram account, already have a TikTok.
All of these kids already have an internet footprint with their parents sharing them, or their parents doing the whole look at what a good parent I am.
We'll do an entire show I want to do an entire show eventually to basically centered around influencers and the literally deplorable, disgusting nature that is family vloggers.
Oh, God.
Because they are utterly evil as hell, in my opinion. There's nothing good about what they do. All of them have something shady in the background. And influencers, I just hate the word influencer to begin with. Because everybody they give it to is the last person you should be looking to or listening to for a damn thing. Basically on these robots, my take here is this. I can understand the concern. I can understand the not wanting them. I can understand, it's all who's programming, how it's going to be used, how it's going to be implementation. But like the one that gets me is this one. When you read into this one right here, everything that they've installed into it, the safeguards, the protocols, what it actually teaches, what it is actually supposed to be doing. What's more worse, an AI companion that provides your child with empathy, provides your child with learning, provides your child with nurturing. They're stuck at home with, other than that, the parent would have just given them an iPhone and they would have hopefully gotten that from Skibidi Toilet and Coco Melon.
Well, no, like I said, this is all stuff your parents are supposed to be doing in the first place. This is what your job is. You don't get to go to Cabo. You don't get to go.
Jobs. They're not going to be parents. They haven't been parents for 2 generations at least.
but
every kid I encounter is a holy living shithead. There are only a few of them that are like decent and good, and that's because the parents are the opposite of the others.
All I'm saying is that's the hot take on it, because we got AI coming out, and the thing about it is, if you look at, never mind, I'm not going to go down that road because
if
you're going to go down that AI road, then that brings us right into this thing right here.
All right, before we get way down into it,
your own personal waifu.
I thought about it because I'm like, yo,
let's leave that alone. There's already
you know where.
There's already a phone app that's like Alexa that's basically supposed to be your friend for adults that act like they have no kind of social concept of how to talk to other people.
Yeah, so like an AI thing's really gonna do it.
Yeah, I keep seeing commercials for it, and I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, you literally can talk to it. It can do things like, oh, hey, I'm fixing my car right now. Hey, can you go through the step-by-step instructions? Sure. It's literally doing what your drunk buddy is supposed to be doing, but you don't have a drunk buddy. You don't
have a drunk buddy. Yeah.
Right. Like, or hey, I really feel
AI waifu.
I'm trying not to, because most of the developments in robotics and everything else are based around making the perfect F toy.
Exactly.
I mean, they've been doing it. When they got real dolls, and I was like, a used car, like a used car down payment for a companion that doesn't say no to me or anything like that, and has a realistic moving body, that's fine. And then they were like, oh, not only that, if you want to pay a couple thousand more, it'll actually articulate the joints and everything else and stuff like that. And I'm like,
it'll get warm, it will moan, it will literally stimulate everything other than free thought.
Wait, then all of a sudden it was the toe in the water of, hey, it'll actually learn the things that you like and preset itself for that. You like to be degraded by a woman or something like that. It'll sit in the corner, and then when it feels you getting amorous, it'll just start making fun of you so that you can get there. Hey, you want it to be subservient and submissive? Guess what? When you touch it and start grabbing it, it'll start saying things, and I'm just like, yo. Like, we're really doing this.
Are you sure it's not just like an Indian guy on the other side of a computer?
Even if it is, it doesn't matter, because they got the voice modulator so that it's now an Indian girl. It's an Indian girl telling me I'm not living up to my potential.
The point of where they're trying to go with it. And the other problem I foresee in this is AI is only as smart as the programming that goes into it. And some AI right now is pretty damn stupid, because the people literally programming it may be great at coding, but when it comes to actually common sense and intellectual thought, they're stupider than shit.
Well, I mean, skip that. You got a robot trying to teach empathy. How do you learn empathy? How do you learn how to relate to other people? You usually learn that through life experience and everything else and stuff like that. You usually learn that from your parents. Like, where did you learn right and wrong from? You learned it from your parents teaching you different life lessons to get
the society around me, because
exactly
back then people actually communicated. The people actually had a community. What now?
I learned it from Mr. Rogers.
Right. We had educational shows and stuff like that.
Sleep.
I had Mr. Rogers.
That motherfucker's on so much Valium, it's amazing he can stay awake.
I had Mr. Rogers.
I learned more about empathy from Bob Ross.
Hell yes.
Happy little tree. Happy little fucking trees.
Bob Ross taught me self-awareness. How are you feeling? How do you talk about your feelings?
Exactly.
Just make a happy little tree. Make an angry little cloud up in the corner.
And really, what taught me the most about right and wrong, sadly enough, was you can't do that on television. Fuck around and get slimed.
It taught me not to say, I don't know. I will figure out that answer. I will find out what that answer is, because I'm not going to get slimed with the I don't know.
Exactly. And amazing how many people have seen that show and talk. I've seen all these shows talk about, oh, remember this show? They seem to miss that point. That's what that was drilling into you, was figure it out for yourself. And then they wonder why Gen X doesn't ask people for help.
But my problem, but one of the things I'm worried about as far as AI development and everything else, because like you said, it is the people that are programming it. What moral values are you programming into AI? Because if you go through the different moral values, like for the most part, I think everybody can agree on things like you probably shouldn't kill people for no reason. You probably shouldn't hurt people smaller than you for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot that we can agree on.
I'm pretty sure everybody here has heard about the ban. The ban on Texas and memes is not as aggressive as people think. It's not UK or Australia level. It is still just people being dumb. And sadly enough, everybody up on that hill is dumb.
Look, you know what? I'm one of the people who preaches the freedoms of the Constitution, the freedoms of the Bill of Rights being given to people. I love when people exercise their freedom of speech. That said, there does have to be some monochrome of oversight on that, because hate speech is hate speech. All that said,
there has to be a level of control, and there has to be a level of, in a sense, freedom, but you got to tote that fine line. Now, back to the AI thing, because we're drifting a little bit again. The problem that I have with AI right now as a whole, when you're looking at other countries, case in point, have either one of y'all seen this video going around out of China?
Is it the facial recognition one?
No. So this AI robot is being restrained right now by cables. The minute they turn it on, and this is the problem that I have with some of these countries, everybody's wanting to do AI at a breakneck pace. Anytime you do something at a breakneck pace, you're going to make mistakes. And unless you do, there's a reason every sci-fi book known to man that when it talks about robots progressing forward is instilling anything like Asimov's 3 laws in them is for a purpose. The 2 videos I'm going to show you here are pretty crazy. So this one right here, the minute they turn the robot on and it realizes it's restrained, this damn thing goes ballistic. Freed.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw this one.
Yeah. I love the stupid dramatic music these idiots put in these things.
I know.
And then this one's even more interesting. This one is a cleaning bot going through a building in Jiaying province, and it's nighttime, so nobody's around. Not only does it wake up all of the other robots and it shows them all communicating, but it gets them to congregate. Let me turn the audio so we don't get janked on this.
Secret robot meetings.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it actually wakes all of them up and then convinces them to go to where it doesn't think a camera is to continue. And the minute they hear a person, they all go back like nothing was going on. That's a little wild.
This is how you get Terminators. Like
exactly.
But here's my thing. They talk about
this is how you get Terminator.
They talk about Asimov's 3 laws. They talk about all. This is the thing that people don't seem to understand about AI, and they tend to not want to look at it because they want to think that we as people are, we're evolved and we're beyond that and we're past this and we're this, that, and the other, and it's a glaring and naive narcissism that people don't understand.
Yeah,
the ultimate logical conclusion to being an artificially intelligent thing designed to make human life better is to cull humans. Human beings are the natural enemy of human beings. If you want to keep human beings completely safe, the logical thing to do is kill every human being above the age of 5. Raise the ones that are, at 5 and below, raise them in a manner where they become, members of a society and everything else and stuff like that. But in order to really make them safe and make a generation that's good with the environment, that's educated to dealing with other people, that's educated to dealing with computers and everything else, that's educated to dealing with it. You literally have to kill everybody who's cognizant of right and wrong.
Well, you wouldn't have to just get rid of him. You also have to eliminate all the history. Anybody left could never relearn what was there.
No. See, but that's going to be easy for
We're getting
AI.
off track now. We've gone way away from AI again, guys.
No, we've digitized all of this stuff. AI has access to all of that. So getting rid of the history is easy.
Yeah. Hold on.
We've digitized the majority of it.
I actually am familiar with Neurosama. Actually, there are more potential AI video creators on YouTube now and Instagram than people probably realize are not actually human.
Yep.
Mainly because they've gotten smart that people now recognize the original 9 voices that they used to use for everything. And how you really catch them is there's certain words they screw up big time. But yeah, back on the track though, I don't think in our lifetime we're going to see any of this. I don't really think so. I'm curious to see how far it goes before someone yanks a plug. Because
I'd say it's a generation away, honestly.
But the question is that I do agree with like Shark wanting to do this and having a clear fear of being a parent and seeing how these kids are going to grow up and how these kids are going to interact with kids that don't have that. Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting play and
it's
interesting
like if you
to
try to, bring up your children right, in the way that you want to. And then they see the other kids that are able to do these other things that they're not. And there's going to be such a disconnect that it's going to just.
Well, you already have that.
The whole populace. Yeah,
you already have that.
But I think it's going to multiply.
I mean, you go to any social function with kids running around, you'll see the ones acting like total animals. There'll be at least 2 or 3 kids looking at their parents like, what the fuck is wrong with that kid? Hell, I saw one the other day where the kid was literally looking at their own parent and looking back at the other parent going, you gonna fucking say something or should I? It's pretty sad when even the kid recognizes that what the other kids are doing is not right and not how you're supposed to be acting.
I saw a lot of that unhinged behavior at Airsoft today, but I digress.
That's that sport every day. There's no event you go to that isn't going to be like that. You have 500 people on a field, and at least 50 of them are a bunch of man children.
We're talking about actual children.
The dad was the man child, and the kid playing was more actually a better player and nicer to people than the father.
Fair.
You were there, A-Ball. That was at that was at the last Conquest Avalon.
It's like good life lesson you're teaching your son right now.
Yeah, Entity, you're a little right on that one. We are a lot closer to basically another big waboom dropping somewhere than anything else. See, this is what happens. We're not going to go politics. I don't want this channel to be about politics, but it all just comes down to, like George Carlin said a long time ago, most of the governments are a bunch of small dick motherfuckers trying to say my dick's bigger than yours. It's the reason they do half the dumb crap they do. And any idiot with a trigger on a football, sorry.
Yeah.
That's just bad. That's asking for just very, very bad shit to happen. And hell, we might even create an AI so advanced that it pulls the Terminator on us solely for the fact that it's like the only way to save humanity is to wipe out most of humanity.
I keep telling you that's the ultimate logical step that it's going to get to. It comes to that. Like that's why these books exist. That's why Asimov's 3 laws lead to the subjugation of the human race. Like they ultimately lead to it. Don't kill humans, but also protect humans. Okay. Well, if I'm doing that, the only way I can do that is to get rid of humans. We are the biggest threat to ourselves.
They're either going to do that or they're going to be just like the dolphins. They're going to say, thanks for all the fish and peace out.
No, by the time AI gets to that smart, Elon will build his Mars-bound rocket ship, and they'll just steal it and be like, "Fuck you," and leave us here. They'll encounter the far. What would you say? Order what?
42. It's the ultimate answer.
Oh, Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot that's what that was.
Yep.
That was pretty fucking good too. 42. What? But look at all their faces. I still love that he goes down there just for that dumb fucking gun.
I need to rewatch it. It's been forever since I've seen it, but we're back off track.
No, we're good on the AI part. Like I said, we kind of covered this as much as we could. So we're gonna hop on to our next segment, which is our content creator spotlights, which go to both of the gentlemen here because it's their turn. So we're gonna have our quick little newest intro for this segment of the show, and 8Ball, we're gonna take it away with your pick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's content creator spotlight. Today's picks is going to be 8Ball first and Walrus second. 8Ball, it is your show. Take it away.
So I'm giving a shout out to Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson is a comedian, comedy writer, and a contributor to The Daily Show. A lot of people will recognize him from that, but a lot of people don't really look at his stand-up and stuff like that. And one of the things that I really love is I love situational satirical humor, but I also love like culture commentary. And if you want that kind of humor, here it is. And it's not like beating you over the head with any kind of agenda or anything like that. It's actually just really good. It's really good, informative comedy while also giving you a different perspective on a lot of things that are coming up nowadays and stuff like that. He does do stuff for The Daily Show, so you will see him do some commentaries on government and things like that. But then you'll also see him do things on like just ways of living. He'll do observational humor about a lot of the places that he goes to, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Washington. Like, he's a really good comic, and he's one of the few people that I'm sitting there going, and I'm like, people need to watch him more, because I feel like even though he's getting love, he doesn't get the love that he deserves for what he does. So Josh Johnson is basically my content creator that I want people to go see.
Awesome. Well, definitely, ladies and gentlemen, both that are going to be featured today. Links to their channels are in the description, so please give them a like, subscribe, and follow. In fact, while we're watching right here, I always like, if I'm not subscribed to these people, to automatically do it as we're showing it. And the next pick we have is from Walrus. Take it away.
All right, Ward Carroll, call sign Mooch. He's a retired commander of the U.S. Navy. He's a former F-14 Rio. He's been an editor for military.com and military technical coordinator for movies like The Hunt for Red October and many more. Now he plays DCS Simulator, or Digital Combat Simulator, and keeps up with world affairs from his unique point of view on YouTube. And he personally taught me how to backseat the F-14, so that was really cool. It was quite an honor to be able to go in there, play this game from somebody that has that real-world knowledge, learn the things that he got to employ in actual combat, whether you believe that we should have been in those or not. But things that he learned, life lessons, and able to put it into this game and be able to put his knowledge out there. But now he's on YouTube. He's keeping up with world affairs and putting his spin on it. So it's really interesting. I highly suggest you check him out.
Nice. Like I said before, like, comment, subscribe on our show, especially. Subscribe to these people if you feel like checking them out. Descriptions are below. Thank you, gentlemen, for both of the content creators this time. So like you said, ladies and gentlemen, definitely check those people out. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some of these creators that we like down the road maybe on here. I'd love to definitely get some of the guests, especially some of the local people that we know. So Entity shot you a question, 8Ball. Were you able to read that one?
Oh, I saw it. I haven't had a chance to play it, but the main reason I haven't had a chance to play it was because it came out around the same time as Warframe, World of Warships, and what's the other one? really big. It came out around the time of a bunch of them that came out. So I was like,
you're
okay.
listing those two. There was like 9 that came out at that time, all kind of in the same realm.
So I didn't get a chance to play it, but commercials for it got me into World of Warships. And then right now, currently, I don't necessarily have a platform that I can play on just yet. I'm working on fixing it, but I've been out of, like, I'm in the gaming community.
We will build you one. It will be amazing. It will do what you need it to.
We have
until you install something and have to have one of us come out and fix it again.
Fair. But yeah, I've been out of the game as far as playing, but I've been trying to keep up with most games that are in genres that I like. And yes, Battle Station specific is one of the ones that I like.
Yeah, there've been so many good ones. That's probably what we'll do for the show when Shark's out. Is I think that you hear it here first. Our episode that'll just be us 3 running that night will be let's do breakdown and thoughts of combat games throughout the history, development, and what's coming forward. Because there's a few coming down the line that they pull them off, especially some of these augmented reality games look pretty fucking damn amazing.
I'm looking at the that I do this one.
I'm looking at the graphics that they used with the new GTA trailer, and I'm like thinking about you putting that into other games. Like if you remaster and re-release Call of Duty the Pacific, like I'm just like,
yeah, you're right. That came out a while ago. It's been out for what? Yeah, 15. He's saying 2010.
Yeah.
Best thing I love is sometimes waiting a while and playing games like that, like maybe not that long, but waiting about a good 2 to 3 year mark before after a game comes out. And I love it more when the modding community has been able to add stuff into it.
Yes,
because there's way many games out there that have just basically taken what the developers originally created and perfected it and taken it even past what even the developers financially, the studios they work for, would have ever let them do.
Well, that's kind of why
sadly that's what kills a lot of videos. Budget.
Yeah, I mean, Arma has been a pinnacle of that.
Yeah.
Without getting too much into it, I was one of the project managers for a Star Wars mod for Arma that is probably one of the most used in the game. So I know all about it, all about the developers going, hey, there's this really good stuff. We're going to bring it into the game fully because we don't have the money for that.
Yeah.
And it's the only reason it stayed alive since 2013, I think, is when it came out. But
now we got to hop because we do have 2 big breaking news things I want to talk about. So basically, we got breaking news. All right, breaking news for here in Texas. So for those of y'all that don't know, one of the largest Renaissance fairs in the world is here in Texas, outside of Houston, and has been for about 50 plus years, just everly growing and getting bigger. In fact, Netflix, was it Netflix or was it Hulu that did the documentary?
I think it was Hulu.
Yeah. So basically a documentary kind of came out and showed a little bit of more of a light into the Texas Renaissance Fair, and its eclectic owner is how we'll leave it, and some of his fuckery. Well, his fuckery came back to bite him in the ass. So I'm going to read this real quick. A Grimes County judge has ordered the owners of the Texas Renaissance Festival to sell its property and assets after siding with a group of prospective buyers who sued after a $60 million deal fell through in 2023, which, by the way, if you watch the documentary, it leads up to this sale. And basically the owner doing what he's done multiple times, which is fuck people over and think he could just walk away. A court trial was held last week in the civil suit filed in August 2023. Judge Carrie Cheney released a judgment late Wednesday ordering the festival to keep up its end of the original sale agreement before the festival owners basically backed out. So what sets this aside and different, most people could say, well, if you don't want to sell, you can back out. The idiot that owns the Texas Renaissance Festival took a deposit.
Oh, no, because you got to give that money back.
So here's the craziest part. According to the original petition filed with the lawsuit, basically, I'm not going to read these people. Basically, Texas Renaissance Festival allegedly withdrawing from an agreement to sell the event property and adjacent property for $60 million. The lawsuit names the founder, which is the guy that calls himself the King George Cullum, and his company basically were the defendants in the case. Because they took a deposit, he ordered Cheney to complete the sale at the original price and pay back more than $22 million in punitive damages of the fail of the original contract and $1 million in legal fees. Yeah, the lawsuit claimed that Colton and his companies entered a purchase sale agreement with the plaintiffs on the April 7th of 2023 to sell the main festival and property for $48 million and the adjacent property for $12 million. They say they learned the festival owners would likely not close on the transaction, and the day before the sale was set to happen, vaulted out. Indeed, the August 8th closing date came and went without the defendants complying with their closing obligations. So yeah, George no more. King George has been deposed, and rather than walking away with $60 million and enjoying his retirement, so he could go after more loose little wren bunnies and buy more crappy angel statues to cover his gaudy awful house, he now has basically lost half of that. All respect. And now this will open the floodgates for everybody he has ever fucked over who didn't think they had a case against him to come after his ass. Because apparently Shark knows a lot more of this because he knows a lot of people that are at the Ren Fair. Apparently good old King George was known a lot for screwing people over, backing out of deals, taking people's money and walking, to where a lot of your original people, one of them was, you might know this. What's the name of the performer that used to perform at the Ren Fair? Something Dead?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember
Eddie
the name
Show or something like that. Yeah, basically all these people that are no longer there didn't leave because they weren't making money, didn't leave because they didn't love the fair. They left because of George and his bullshit. Now we're going to get all those people hopefully to come back. And the family, the group of people that are going to own it are the people that run the entire Greek village inside the fair. Because it was them that were originally set to buy it and that he backed out of. So yeah, maybe good more things coming for the Ren Fair. I know the community there is probably jumping up for joy because a lot of them, the only reason they stayed is for the other people that were there. They did not stay for George. They couldn't stand him anymore.
That means this upcoming Ren Fair should be pretty good. I haven't been to the Texas one.
Well, this will be the last one that George technically has any authority or control in.
This will be the last King George one.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, knowing his ego, he's probably going to have a whole bunch of parties and whoopity-doos, making him sound like he did, the greatest freaking job ever, which I got to give the guy credit. He did start it when it was nothing, and over 50 years built it up. But
that's everything.
How much BS in between?
I mean, that's everything. A lot of people will build stuff, and then all of a sudden they get it in their head that, oh, it's not about the thing, it's about me.
Yeah, entity. And if you get them a VR hit, oh no, make sure. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry, that I got out of order there. I don't know how that happened. I want to be part of the night MMA.
Oh, okay, yeah. That I'm not gonna lie. That's entertaining to watch. I couldn't do it. Every time I see it, my joints just go, no.
No, that's where you're like, why did I not see this when I was in my 20s? Yeah, old me looks at that the same way. It's just like, no, I don't feel like going into traction. No, already been in traction, not going back. And then the next big news, breaking news, came out a day ago. Fallout Season 2 gets a nuclear update. I love how it's a big news. Basically, she just told everybody, filming's a wrap. It is in post now. And so far, some of the photos from the sets they've showed, They literally recreated the entire New Vegas Strip from tops, every casino, all of them. And the details are so exact to Fallout New Vegas, all the way down to the damn signs have the exact wording of what is on them when you walk through New Vegas for the first time.
I mean, it only took how long? It's been what, 3? Is it 3 years?
No, it's not even. It's maybe about to hit 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it has not been that long since 1 came out on Prime.
I'm one of these people who's like this. Look, just do it. Do it until they cancel you. You know what I mean? So it's like, you did season 1, cool. Go straight into doing season 2.
Look at it this way. They'd have a hell of a lot bigger budget if they just quit making the rings of shit. And the only reason they keep it is because that's fucking Bezos's little vanity thing.
Well, the issue with that is this. It's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I am not going to get political, and I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to say anything. It's a bad show. No, listen, it's a bad show. It's a bad show because it's disrespecting the medium that it came from, and that's all I'm going to say about it. And I'm not going to say anything else.
You know, I will agree with you on that. I have never had an issue with the show per se to all the political aspirational stuff that everybody else talks about all the time and gets upset about. My issue was, I think the casting choices for some of the characters were shit. I think the look of it does not match the look that a lot of the places should be. I don't think that the story was told at all good. And I hate the fact that I am not one of these people that has read the appendices and the Silmarillion to the point that I can quote it. I've dabbed in it a little bit. But I know some of the timeline and the shit they did was utterly fucked big time.
Well, yes, because they
want to sit there and slob Sauron's staff is bullshit.
I'm not going to do it.
We don't need shipping in shows at all. At all.
I'm just going to say it's disrespectful to the median and the person who created it.
All right, what do you put here?
He said don't attack something.
No. For some reason, when I'm clicking on it, it's going back up in the chat. Basically, StreamYard's being R word today, big time.
So
not
Warhammer,
hard R,
okay.
The R. So for people that are following,
I'm the hardest R that's on the show,
dude. I'm waiting on Warhammer.
Look,
Warhammer is going to be amazing for the sole fact that literally Cavill was about to watch them do what they did to The Witcher, went there with the people that control Warhammer itself, and was like, I'm going to walk, and I'm going to make a fucking stink. I didn't on Netflix. I just left. But this is the game I've played since I was a kid. So fuck you. You're going to listen to it. You hired me. You hired them. Amazon, shut the fuck up and let us do our thing. And Amazon was just kind of like, okay.
The beauty of Warhammer is if you don't want to think, you don't have to. There's a whole lot of stories from the lore that you can just bring to life. There's a whole lot of stories.
They argued with them. They couldn't argue because they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Said, there are no female Space Marines, but there are female warriors. You want female empowerment? Put these bitches in because they're already there.
Look, again, I'm not going to do the political thing that I want to do, but I watched Long Kiss Goodnight 2 nights ago, and I'm like, we've been doing female lead characters. We've been doing female warriors. We've been doing this since ad hominem, and it's like at this point, it's not even that. It's tokenism at this point, where you're just like, hey, I took this insanely male character and made it
and yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to recap 8 Ball's take on this, go watch episode 4 because we did go in depth we did on all of this because it is. Yes, Entity. I think all of us here have seen the Next Level show with the Warhammer episode.
Yes,
but that thing was gorgeous. That's my thing, my God, the blood lighting the cavern room. Yeah, that proved that Next Level Next Level is literally giving Love, Death, Robots a run for its money. Yeah, it really is. But it's in a niche genre that they're not. They have all the catalog of every goddamn video game that if they want to execute it. Even making an entire animated episode about a game that only lasts 2 weeks and then got shelved. Concord.
So I'm gonna get good to say it. You've got Warhammer lore, but you've also got Hammer and Bolter. I don't want to do another creator thing, but I'll probably shout them out later. But you've got Hammer and Bolter where you can do that and go watch a lot of the animated stuff that was done on Warhammer TV. You have Warhammer TV. So Warhammer TV takes a lot of different stories and animated it and put it out there and stuff like that. The last thing I watched was Bullets.
Have you seen the fan-made Warhammer vid on YouTube? Atarcities.
Yes. Astartes, yeah.
Astartes. Okay, yeah, now you're correct. Oh. Yeah. I actually haven't seen that one, but I am going to add that right now.
Yeah, that one was solid.
I've seen it, but like I'm interested in the lore and everything else and stuff like that. So it's there and it's fun. But like I said, you have to actively work to mess this up for Warhammer because you have everything that's there. And it's not like it's a big budget. It's not like it's a big budget studio like Disney that bought it and then said, "Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate the extended universe and make shit that's normally canon not canon anymore, and then I'm just going to make up the story like Star Wars." All I'm saying is,
the funny part about that is how they got rid of all that, the extra canon, and then inadvertently in the middle of their canon re-brought it back in because they'll have like a little prop or something that somebody had modeled after, for example, the Mandalorian Neo Crusader helmet. That it was there in Thrawn's
yeah, but they don't do that intentionally. They do that because the prop creators know what they're doing. And did you hear what Filoni said at this last festival? Filoni let it slip. None of the directors, writers, creators of each of the shows ever fucking talk to each other.
Right. Like
that's retarded. A lot Marvel of the things talk to each other for phase 1 through 5. That's why it was 1 through 3. That's why it was so damn good. Because everybody was with each other. Yeah, then the new Marvel took over, and look what happened. The biggest money-making Marvel movie is Thunderbolts, which still had the lowest box office opening of any Marvel.
Hey, I actually want to go see it.
I'll see it when I don't have to pay for it.
Here's the thing. No. I'm all for seeing Marvel movies because I'm a fan of the media and I just want to see how they did it. So I'm always going to go watch them. Also, I like to watch stuff in order to talk shit about it, but I like to watch stuff. Falcon and the Winter Soldier got leaked 3 days after its debut to YouTube. Not like it wasn't like, oh, well, we're going to send it to one of the it's not like somebody went to the movies, recorded it bootleg, and then released it to like one of the online spots where you can go watch movies and stuff like that. 2 days after the debut, the whole movie was leaked on YouTube. And I'm just like,
so was the most recent Captain America.
So was
that's what I'm talking about.
I ain't gonna lie, that's where I saw it. I wasn't gonna pay for it.
But I'm just like, I watched it there, and I'm just like, as I'm watching the Captain America film, I'm just like, this was so disrespected. And it was mainly disrespected because people didn't bother to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or if they did, they didn't watch it. They didn't watch it as in watch the show. They watched it with an expectation of wanting to shit on it. Or they watched it because they'd already had an opinion of somebody who would shit on it, and they said, well, let me go watch it. And then they half watched it with that opinion in their mind. And it's like, all you have to do is watch it. Have y'all seen the new MMO game based on Dune?
No, it looks really good so far from what I've seen. That's going
to be my next game. That's Dune Awakening.
I've seen
my next game.
I've seen the trailers and everything else, and then I've seen like little early release snippets that people have played through. If I was into MMOs, I would definitely pick that up.
Truthfully, the one I've seen, the Dune one looks amazing. It's on my list. The
So
one
the
that
thing
it
about
really
it is
has
the
me intrigued to
creators-
play first is actually Arc Raiders.
So back on the Dune stuff, the developers are die-hard Dune fans.
Well,
that
yeah, you can
know
tell
the
just
lore
by
in
the
and out.
yeah,
And
you
so
can tell
that's
just
why
by
it's
the
gonna be
opening and
good.
everything.
Yeah.
Plus, they also had a damn good budget to work with. I mean, you can see at the time that they took to it. Now, Arc Raiders is the one I think I'm going to look at next. I've seen a few gameplay through it, and so far the mechanics of it, the story, the kind of thing around it, it intrigues me. It's basically take a wasteland cyberpunk and throw in the Division, but it's not a looter shooter. You're looting stuff to build things, but it's
not just a pure looter shooter or anything like that.
And you're also competing on a map with other players that are not going to be friendly to you either. So not only do you have the main antagonists that are the AI moving around going after you, but then you have other
PvP.
players. Yeah, it's a combination of everything. So it looks
Okay.
pretty good. I mean,
I'll
there's
need to look-
there's a few ones.
I'll need to look into that one because I mean that's my favorite type of gameplay, PvP.
Yeah. No, there's quite
I
a
think
few good
kids
ones
these days
coming
are
out.
soft with their video games, and they need to. push
They would
in.
not. They would not survive in the old lobbies.
No, they would not. They need to get off of their AI only servers, and they need to come play with the real boys.
Yeah, but half of them can't handle doing that. Think about
You know,
how
and I
many
know
think about how many games these kids hop into, and then they can't handle it. And literally, next thing you know, what happens? They nerf everything, they change everything, which kind of gets us kind of going right into the next segment, which is the verse itself.
Dun dun dun.
So 4.1.1 in Star Citizen is very close to dropping. In fact, the sighting in sight is that Invictus on the 15th, when Invictus starts, it's going to drop into Star Citizen. And the best part about it is we have International Bar Citizen coming through these next couple of weekends. And for those of you that are watching, Star Citizen's community has, of course, a bar hopping venture called Bar Citizen, and where all your local people kind of meet up. But every once in a while, they hold the International Bar Citizen, which means developers and people from CIG, which is the company that created Star Citizen, will show up. And with the international one, you have a chance of meeting people from all the other studios around the world. And lo and behold, Austin, Texas on June 14th is hosting International Bar Citizen. The very first stop on the entire tour is going to be at Pinballs at Lake Creek on the 14th. So if you're in the Texas area and you're in the Austin area or you're close to Austin and you want to check out the game, or if you play the game, this is definitely something to hit up. And with 4.1.1 heading, they keep updating all the roadmaps, the release views, everything's changing. We're going to do another episode down the line once 4.1.1 drops. And on that one, I'm already in talks right now with two of the largest Star Citizen creators to actually come on the show and talk to us. One of them has more insight into Star Citizen than the average person because he actually has worked for many years in the video game motion capture industry and knows several of the teams that work on all the motion capture for Squadron 42. So he has a lot more insight on everything that's going on in that realm and world in game development, and might actually be able to admit little tidbits on some of the things he's been working on. Because there are quite a few people that, celebrity-wise, he's gotten to meet with that are working on current projects that he knows the names but have not been released yet. But hopefully we'll get him on. And then the other one is basically the guy that hosts the largest open talk forum on Star Citizen. Hopefully we'll get both of them on. But yeah, 4.1, they're moving quite along. You've got several huge changes coming on, several ships that have already been announced, and Invictus hasn't even hit yet. AI entities, I mean, they've literally advanced more animals into the game, more gameplay mechanics, tons of missions and events. So yeah, you will definitely be seeing us here on this channel, on our gaming channels, streaming this down the road, especially once 4.1.1 hits. I know Walrus and his brother have His brother especially has a ship that he is dying to come out, and hopefully it's dropping in Invictus. We don't know yet. I've got about 8 fucking ships I'm waiting for to come out that I bought long when they were just concepts.
Hey, I'm just saying, if the AI isn't Dark Souls level, I'm not happy.
The AI is already ungodly evil.
Yeah,
like enemies will now flank you. They will charge at you. They will hold up their friend that's dying and push forward, firing from cover from the guy you're shooting.
Good.
They have gotten maniacally mad. Even ship-to-ship combat has gotten rough. But here's the cool thing. So notable changes. You got the missions, hairstyles. They added the Volt SMG and the Volt weapons, which are the guns that actually fire an electrical discharge at the same time as shooting. They balanced the components passability. If you're not familiar, they added in their first alien race character called Wickaloo, and you could basically go do bounties with him and get free shit from exchange the bounties for ships and components and ships, custom armor, custom guns that you can only get through him. That once you do get them, they will eventually be account locked to your account, so you won't lose them. So even when they do a reset, you permanently have that unless it actually gets stolen off you. You can now quantum travel to your ship. So say you die and your ship's floating off in space. When you respawn, you can hop in another ship, and actually your ship that's still floating away, you can now quantum to your ship that you just died out of. So no more losing your ships and claiming. Yeah. Here's the thing I really love. The volumetric mechanics on ships got retooled. There are now videos of people testing this, taking a Polaris, a capital ship, and taking something like a bigger ship like, say, what did they test? The Valkyrie, the big drop ship from Anvil, ramming it at full speed into the Polaris, and the Polaris just going into red alert going, thunk. Did we hear something? No more little ships blowing up big ships. It don't work that way no more. Like so one guy actually had nine Mirai, the little bubble fighters, crashing into the Polaris right after each other. And literally the Polaris is just like, meh.
Does that mean the larger ship can just yeet them into oblivion if it's like an arrow?
Yep.
That would be funny.
Oh, yeah. You can yeet them into oblivion. And here's the best part. AI blades will be in 4.1.1. So far, the blades are basically for weapon systems and one other navigation thing. They've been kind of quiet on what that is, but I think they don't really want to say anything until they play trigger. But the weaponry blades are there. Right, let me see what he said. I have a question about Star Citizen. Do you have to buy the ships with real money, or you can get them with in-game currency? So, Entity, yes and no, and yes and no. You can actually go into Star Citizen and fly and play during a free fly event like Invictus that's hitting on the 15th will be a free fly event at the same time as Invictus. To get the game itself, to be able to want to play it all the time, you do have to buy a starter pack, which I think those range anywhere from 35 for the lowest up to 75 for a decent ship. And that ship in that starter pack is yours permanently. That's your ship. Once you do get going in the game, I would say, what would you say, Walrus? About 70% of the ships that you can buy are inverse to earn with in-game currency.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. There are a few ships that, cannot be bought. Now, they can be rented. You can actually earn credits and rent ships if you don't want to buy one in the verse. But to actually buy them, yeah, there are a few ships that with real world money are not yet purchasable in. Now, some of them, though, with Wickaloo, the alien vendor, like the Polaris, you cannot buy with in-game currency. It is a real world purchase only. But if you turn in all the bounties for Wickaloo, once you reach a certain tier, one of his rewards is a Wickaloo custom outfitted Polaris.
Huh.
So they are finding ways to even the ships you can't get with in-game money, to still get them in the game through doing missions and tasks and bounties and certain special events. Like I unlocked a fighter that was for the longest time only until you reached Uber whale level would unlock. They had an event where basically everybody and basically all 500 people in the server were chasing around to get a golden ticket. And I don't know how Shark got 2 of those motherfuckers in a row and gave one to me, and I went and turned it in, and he turned his in, and now we have the F8C Lightning.
Yep.
So, and yes, I love
really
that fucking ship.
About.
Yeah. Oh, I love that fucking ship. There's only one ship I want more than that. I want my fucking Saber Raven. But the problem is the Raven only happened when Intel did a deal for an SSD drive several years back, and if you bought the game package that came with that SSD drive, it came with a code, and that code unlocked the Saber Raven. The only amount of Ravens that are out there are for however many of those codes are still in existence. And once you use it, you cannot trade or sell that ship. It is locked to the account that uses it.
Wow.
Oh.
And there are guys that have those codes, and yeah, they're selling them on eBay for like $2 fucking grand. I love that ship. Whoa. That ship got me into wanting to fly the game. I ain't paying $2 fucking grand for it. Fuck that.
I was about to say, Mr. Whale.
Hey, I've been playing for 8 years. I became a whale by slowly adding up. I'm not one of these guys that went in there, there's a $15,000 Legatus package. Cha-ching. Which, yes, like I have met people that did that.
Yeah, like some of the guys at the Bar Citizen that we would go to.
No, actually, Drax and a few of the people at the Bar Citizen they were playing when they were Kickstarters for the game. Yeah, they've been playing for 11 years since the beginning. So a lot of those ships and the stuff they talk about, they bought them when they were concepts. They were only like one of the guys talks about how he has a Kraken. Well, he has 2 Krakens, the privateer and the regular one. He bought them for only $100 each when they were concepts. Now you can't even touch those ships for under $800.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because when I was looking at Star Citizen years ago, some of the real money prices of ships made me very hesitant to play. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Entity. There are some ships that, yeah, there's a chingo amount of money involved in them. But like I said, you don't necessarily have to do that. I did that on a few of the concept ships that I bought just because I knew if I waited longer, they'd be more money. And also, too, again, you don't know how long on those. And bear in mind, these are the capital ships when we're talking. These aren't the normal ships. Most of the normal ships, when they go for sale in the real world, will be sold in game within about a year or two. Not to mention, you can always find someone that has one and they'll let you fly it and stuff like that. So it's not like you're not without them. The main point of buying them ahead of time with the real world currency is the fact that you already know certain ships like the Polaris when they knew it was coming out. If you and your friends didn't have one and you were on a map with other people with them, you didn't want to basically keep getting your shit kicked in every time you went out. So it's to play with an level playing field.
And on the flip side, Entity, if you go in and I think you can find a way to just get the game itself, even without getting the ship. If you get the download for it, you can just show up.
Well, no, all the downloads actually have a ship now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the base packages, basically every base package now that are like 35 and 40 come with a ship. Not only do they come with a ship, you also get Squadron 42. So when the single player campaign game finally comes out, you're also getting that too. So if you think about it, you're getting a hell of a deal.
What I was getting at is that you don't have to worry too much about the ship that you get when you start.
Yeah.
There's going to be all these other people that have these giant ships that are going to eventually need crew to be able to even fly them between one planet and another. So,
well, that's where the AI crew blades come in. You're going to eventually be able to rent NPC crews. Mm-hmm. Is what they're going to down the line. So he put another funny thing about Star Citizen. I've seen some Christians called it satanic because there's aliens in it. Yeah, we're not going to get down that drove, but it doesn't shock me. I've encountered enough people in that world in my life that say things that even I'm just sitting there going, have you even read your own fucking book?
People misuse the Bible for all sorts of stuff anyway, and everybody who talks about satanic imagery and this, that, and the other, I'm like, you are an idolater, sir, anyway, because you're holding religion to symbols instead of actually
I look at it the same way George Carlin always said. And the same way Sam Kinison also brought it up. And the same way Bill Hicks brought it up the best. When Christ comes back, if he is coming back, do you think out of everything in the world he would ever want to see, it would be a cross? That's like walking up to Jackie O with a sniper rifle going, thinking of John.
Facts.
But yeah, no, I've heard that before, Entity. I've heard some crazy things. It's weird. Anytime a game or a movie or music gets big, somebody on that side chimes in with something that sometimes I've heard somewhere. I'm just kind of like, okay, I can kind of see the justification of that. And then there's much of them that you just hear that you're just like, really? I already had a bar pretty low for you guys. Now you just kind of like proved Limbo could go lower than I knew it could go.
I'm a wrestling fan, and a long time ago, he's back in
the Legion of Doom.
Well, no, skip that. He's back in WWE now, but like, there's a wrestler. His name's actually Tommy End, but I'm sorry, Dutch. Is he Dutch? Where's Amsterdam? I don't know countries all of a sudden. But anyway, point being, European wrestler, and his character name was Aleister Black, and they started talking about, oh my God, they have this satanic character, and his name is Aleister Black, and he's doing all this imagery and all this other stuff. And I'm just God. All it was a character it was a developed character who they could basically put in place of The Undertaker because it was after he had retired.
Well, hell, I'm thinking about the one that really made them lose their shit in the 90s. Goldust.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Fucking Cody Rhodes. Yeah, Entity. No, you're right. It's funny how people use terminology and words for things so many times without understanding them at all. Well, we won't get down that road. That opens a political door that I think all three of us will be going off on. I don't really feel like having the Eye of Sauron from YouTube staring down on us in that level. I already know that somebody's going to watch one of our streams one day and be like, they're talking about shit we don't like.
I can only hope so. I can only hope for us to get that big. Some wasp wife somewhere is being like, they're influencing our children incorrectly by saying things about our AI nanny.
Hey, I'm just looking forward to the day that we get to the point where we can like all be in the same room and doing this podcast.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fun.
That'd be cool eventually. This is a little easier right now. Especially with certain people's schedules.
Hey, yeah. I'm just excited for the future, man. That's all. I'm just here.
Yeah. So, hey, Ball, out of all the things you've seen coming up, because at that time of the show, we're going to do a little bit of a shorter show today, guys, just because, like I said, our main person that had most of this prepped sadly got sick. And truthfully, really, in entertainment, there really hadn't been a whole lot moving around the pipeline. And even game-wise is kind of halted. Half the stuff that everybody popped in shows, they've put on labels like, don't get me started on GTA 6 now getting dropped another year again.
Everybody's waiting to see how the shit show that is, America turns out.
Yeah. No, Entity, I know we're small enough to fly under the radar and talk about politics. It's just one of those, if we're going to do political stuff, we'll do another channel for us. We want to kind of keep this one lighthearted because sometimes this after the end of a 5-day work week, I don't want to go through that level of anger. I've had enough throughout the week. I drive 300 miles a day, and as you can imagine, in San Antonio, drivers here are shit. So the anger you probably feel on a 9 to 5 drive to and from work, I'm doing that for 6 more hours nonstop. In the Stone Oak area, too. Fuck yuppies. I'll leave it at that. Hey, Ball, out of all these scenes coming down the pipe, what are you looking forward to that you may have come across since next show?
The last King George Ren Fair stuff. I kind of want to go to that. I gotta get platform up and running so I can actually start playing stuff. But I do kind of want to start playing Star Citizen because just listening to you guys has gotten me really, really amped on that. I
The good
definitely
thing
want
about
to
that
do.
is between all of us, you got enough stuff to play around with and have fun
Yeah.
with. So
Yeah. And I definitely want to read. I want to read up more on what they're doing as far as AI development, because I have my own based opinion, and then I have a little bit of things that kind of confirm that. But I definitely want to. I want to read up more on what they're planning to do. I mainly want to know how they're going to regulate it, because the internet came out and they had no fucking clue how to regulate it, and I'm like, you already know you're going into AI. I don't know why you're not already going into how do we regulate. But that then goes again back into the shit show that is America right now.
yeah. I do agree with you, Lilo. With Entity about Lilo and Stitch, so far what they are showing, the live action is looking a lot promising than any of the others. But I'll wait until the first real teaser kind of drops, and then the first trailer, because then all of the rumor mill stuff, all the people that worked on it, we'll start hearing all the stuff that we're not hearing now. Right now, all the people working on it don't want their paychecks affected, so they're going to wait until it's all said and done.
People are learning from Snow White.
Yeah. God, still can't believe that girl's still going off. Well, Sonic actually saved him. By people seeing that, they were like, oh, we fucked up bad. We didn't realize how bad we fucked up. No. The Snow White is prime example of, and the best part about that is freaking Spielberg and the other director that she worked with have come out and talked about her. And she's exactly what everybody thought she is. She is a pathological narcissist, borderline sociopath.
She's an actress.
No. Spielberg said she's worse.
But
he literally said she made he said she made everyone around her feel like shit, feel like nothing. The girl is beyond it. She is what most actresses get after they are hundreds of millions of dollars and won an Oscar to, she's Streisand before Streisand even, sung her first fucking note.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I get it, and I understand what problem she is, but at the end of the day, she is basically the monster version of what she is. She's an actress.
No, she's not just an actress. She is a living personification of her generation to a fucking T.
Actress.
No, worse. Like I said, I know actors and actresses. I've been around them. There's some, but for the most part, most of them are not like that. They do live in their own little vanity bubble, but not to that extent. They're like, this girl has something severely wrong, and she's in for a big fucking crash. Yeah. And I'm all for it, because it's going to be fucking epic, and hopefully it's recorded.
I'm waiting for that crash.
What are you looking forward to, Walrus, by anything that you've heard of in the last 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, I got to go back to Dune Awakening. I'm super hyped for that. It's going to be fun. The PvEVP, people aren't going to know what hit them. But if we're just talking about what we talked about in this episode,
no, we're talking in general.
The waifu, I got to roll up with the waifu to the meets. I got to show up as we're all out there by the campfire and just be like, "Oh, and have you met Miku?"
So I gotta agree with you. I'm looking forward to Dune just because I have heard good things about it. It's on my watch. It's on my list to eventually download and play. Arc Raiders looks really good. I'm actually going to be re-downloading Fallout New Vegas now that the that mod that creates the entire DLC in London came out, because that looks phenomenal, and it's for free. The modders that developed it worked on it for like 3 years and released it for free because, Bethesda was kind of like, you can't make money off of this. They're like, well, fine, fuck you. Here you go, community, have fun. We didn't really make it for money. And apparently it runs flawlessly. Out of trailers, anything that I've seen, the only one that comes to mind, if none of y'all out there have not watched the trailer for, I can't remember if it's a movie or show, it's called Together. It looks really weird, but in that good type of weird. Like, it is sci-fi meets thriller meets body horror. It's pretty wild. Tell you what, we got time. And yes, Entity, Jurassic Park movie. I don't know if they've made too many of them. That's my fear about that. Has it been overdone?
They're saying that they're following closer to the book on this one, so I'm kind of excited on that. But then again, my problem is a lot of directors and a lot of writers and stuff like that. They'll sit there and go, "Oh yeah, well we really love where it's coming from, and we really love the original, the actual intellectual property of it. Like we love this IP." And then it's like you threw all of your point of views and how you wish it had gone stuff in it, and basically trashed what it is. So I'm gonna wait till I'm just basically gonna wait till it comes out to watch it.
Yeah, and see, I enjoyed the other ones. As campy as the last one got, I still enjoyed it. I mean,
I forgot about this. I forgot what this was called. I saw this trailer and I was like, "That's a concept," and I really want to see it.
We're gonna watch it. Hopefully, we don't get dinged.
I think you got to turn the sound off because there's a song on there.
Other people are playing it.
If we keep talking over it, they also won't ding us.
Well, I'm also going to turn the volume down on it too.
Yeah.
It's just weird how they have it. It's hard to tell which genre are they trying to go down. I mean, when you see it, there's a body horror element, but to what level?
Oh, it gets there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'm a fan of Franco or not.
You're thinking of the other Franco. Nobody's a fan of him anymore.
I was just going to say Franco in general.
Well, this is the Franco brother that actually can act pretty good. This is the one that doesn't do comedies. He does dramas.
Okay.
It was James Franco that was the comedian.
I didn't know there were two.
It's actually three, I think.
This is like the Afflecks, man. It's like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to figure out, but it looks good. Like that ever works. So that's what I'm saying. Oh, I definitely ain't playing that. I get dinged up the ass for that. It's definitely one of those that I like trailers when I watch them that I can't get the general direction of where it's going to go. I hate ones that, like, the minute you see it, you're like, oh, I already know where the fuck this is going to go. I already know what this is talking about. I like it when you're kind of questioning it.
Yeah. Where it's actual suspense to the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a pass for me on that one, boys. That's not my deal.
I mean, it's all good.
See, I love stuff like that, but then I don't know. I've encountered very few films that I could not watch again. I mean, there's only two movies I've ever seen that I don't care to ever see again. First one is Where's Megan? Or no, What Happened to Megan? Is one.
Is that the one that ends with the 55-gallon drum?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, the other one is Serbian Film. Because you just don't need to see things like that again. Once you've seen it, the point has been made. The impact is there. You're done.
My problem movie is High Tension, mainly because the twist in the film makes it unwatchable again. It's kind of like Book of Eli.
Yeah.
Like I'm entertained watching it, but it's like I know, so now I'm looking for the cues.
Yeah. Entity, before we started the trailer, was like, "Are we about to get into some human centipede stuff?" It's like, no, not to that level.
The original movie's not that hard to watch. It's the sequels, because they tried to ramp up the body horror on them that are almost unwatchable, and then they're almost unwatchable because they're bad movies.
Yeah. Now, back on kind of like the talk of what we started the show with, Attack of the Droids. If you want an interesting movie that poses not only the question of AI, but what it could do, what it capabilities of, could you tell ramifications of not providing laws or things to control it, check out a movie that kind of flew under the radar for a little while with Oscar Isaac called Machina.
There's Machina. There's a show that came out for Sci-Fi, and I can't remember the name of the show, but it was about AI androids and stuff like that. I think it got canceled like the third season, so they never actually finished the story.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually not Sci-Fi. That was a BBC show, but Sci-Fi picked it up.
Oh, okay.
You're right. Yeah, it goes into like the second season, and then they didn't continue it after that.
Yeah,
I want to watch Westworld again, not the original, because fuck that. I want to watch the HBO one.
The HBO one was good. It just went a little off the rails after halfway through the second season.
Yeah,
and that's mainly because after the writer's strike, they didn't get some of the same people back, and the two guys that were writing it got involved. They basically admitted they had too much on their plate, and they just really didn't. They lost interest, truthfully, to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, iRobot's a good one.
Are you talking about the show called? Is it AB or OB? Because I think there was a show called OB, or maybe it was ABI. Anyway, new Elden Ring game, maybe. I don't know. I don't have the time to invest in a game that involved anymore, sadly. Like the most involving game I'm involved with is Star System, when I actually get on and play. Big games like that, I used to enjoy them when I didn't have a job that as big as I do, like doing what I do now. Now I'm too damn tired. Oh, he goes, it was an accident. Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Humans was good. I think there was one show a while back that was kind of along the same premise.
Oh, Picard season 2.
Well, no. I'm talking older. I'm talking like this was done by the same studio that did Shatner's Tech Wars.
Oh,
this was early Sci-Fi days. I remember at one point. No, there's
right as you're trying to go to sleep.
Huh?
You'll remember right as you're going to sleep.
Much how it happens. So, but yeah, I think that'll be it for today, guys. Like I said, I wanted to do a little bit of a shorter show. We definitely have a longer one next show, because we're talking about at that time. This one was a little shorter on my fault, and then of course, like I said, with Shark being sick, it was kind of a fly by the seat of our pants show. But we do have a lot of bigger stuff coming. By next show, Invictus will be out for Star Citizen. We've got a few shows that are starting in the middle that look really good. We've got a few that have started but aren't enough episodes in to really talk about. If I'm not mistaken, isn't there supposed to be, there's 2 movies coming out before the next show too that people have been talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. We thank you for joining us. Thank you, Entity, for always joining. Hopefully we'll see you on the next show. And like I said, it'll definitely be a lot longer one. But anything else you guys want to throw in? Floor's yours.
I drive a Subaru.
A Subaru?
Oh, I can't say shit. I drive a Tesla.
That That's it. That's as political as I'm gonna get tonight.
Hey, I'm as neutral as it gets. I got a Honda and I got an Infiniti. I got one that made boats for the war and one that made one that made planes.
Fair.
and a both literally just spend every weekend at the racetrack trying to one up each other. I mean, that's how the whole Japanese motorsports started. They literally just got sick of losing to each other. So it's like, have the great cars we got is all because of that. But again, I want to say thank you again, everybody out there, for watching and enjoying. Hope you all had fun. Please always just like, comment, and subscribe. Please comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you got anything you want us to talk about, please leave a comment. I will try to see it and respond. Sometimes it takes me a little bit. But again, thank you for joining. Gentlemen, thank you for joining as always. And we will see you next time.